All right. This is this huddle. Here we are, a new Monday, guys. A new Monday. It's time to rock and roll as we kick off another week. Hopefully, at a tremendous weekend. Um, Again, I lift up the entire country right now for unity, for communication, for discourse, um, and politeness, yet also truth. And so, Lord, I just lift up the entire company and the entire country to you and to your truth. And even if someone's not a believer, that your truth only speaks kindness and love. So I don't think anyone would disagree with that. So, Lord, have your way with the United States and the world and DAC. And as we huddle and break this huddle, there's nothing that matters more. 200 years from now, none of us are here. None of us are here 200 years from now. So as we huddle and take on the week and want to help business funding clients and want to help broker teams and agencies, that's all important. But my great grandparents are no longer here. What they did mattered at the time, but it doesn't matter today unless that's still playing out in my mom and dad and in me or in the world, right? So we're here to make an impact that survives us. And that is in your family, that is in your friends, that is in your clients, right? That's the impact we can make. So as we huddle and break the huddle, let's not forget, let's not overvalue the DAC business. Let's not overvalue anything that we are standing for right now, that in my personal abilities or anything like that. Let's not overvalue it, and let's not undervalue it either. Let's not believe that we're not capable of making an impact. Let's not believe we're all that and narcissistic, but also let's not believe that we're not a man or a woman capable of making an impact, because every one of us is. So as we break this huddle or attend this huddle, as we start the week, I want us all to make sure we remember it's all calibrated. I got a sound mixer over here that I had to calibrate the sound a moment ago because it was disconnected, right? And I got to make sure the sounds aren't too loud or too low or any of that. And it's the same thing with your business. You got to make sure you're calibrated to believe enough to be active, but not believe so much that you're an arrogant, narcissistic person who turns people off, right? You want to be in balance in the middle there. So how do you do that? Well, number one, we start with the beliefs of our product. When we start with the beliefs of the truth about our product, we start with the belief of the truths about business owners. We start with the beliefs about the banking industry. Banks are great. They're fantastic. Bank managers are fantastic. No one's got an ill bone about them. When someone declines someone, it's not because of their color. It's not because of their gender. It's not because of their age. It's because of their credit score and their qualifications in the banking world, right? There's nothing that qualifies you in a business unless your business qualifies. It's not about the person's anything about them. In our business, we don't ask race, we don't ask color, we don't ask age, we don't ask any of that stuff. We get a driver's license to make sure they're a legal person so there's not fraud. That's it, right? And we don't even need that to give the approval. So it's not based on any of that. The business qualifies the business. So when you look at the truth about our business owners are rock stars, they're brave. They can't get access to funding even when they have a good opportunity to grow. They can't get access to funding even though when they're in a pinch. And if they don't get funded, they're going to have to lay someone off or close their business. And they still can't get it. Doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter how important. They can't get it. So to balance your equilibrium of confident enough, but not arrogant, narcissistic, start with the beliefs about the product and the beliefs about business owners. And when you believe about business owners, they're going for it and they mean well, and most of them aren't going to make it unless we help them. 8 out of 10 who failed said they failed for lack of access to capital from the banking system. And then you learn of alternative capital and you've got an answer for them. Over 80% of them can get approved. Over 80% can get approved. And now that's an amazing solution you have for them. It's like a life ring or a lifeguard. So when you've got that access to that, and then when you look at it and go, hey, it's not just a life jacket, it's a life jacket. It's the best one out there because we've got the top 20 providers all in one little umbrella called Bank Breezy Funding Platform. And all they got to do is fill out one application. They're going to get the best offer from the top 20. And then you go, oh, that bolsters my belief we're going to get the best offer. We had a story last week, Friday, where a guy got approved 2 weeks ago. For the last 2 weeks, has been trying to find a better offer, wasting time, only to accept our offer on Friday, right? And so we get the best offer, we guarantee it, or we'll give the client $500, and we've never had to give out the $500. I don't like saying it because it sounds like, oh, it's unrealistic. You must have a lot of hoops. No. If you get alternative capital, revenue-based capital, the same way we do, and you get a better offer, we'll give you $500. I mean, it's really simple. Prove it to us, because everyone says they can get better, but okay, show us your papers that you did. And they never have. They never have. We funded, as I said last week, over 10,000 businesses just since we launched our new back office, 10,000 now of record. And just since we launched our new back office a couple years ago, and we've never one time had to pay out that $500. That should instill belief and confidence to take you above, I'm afraid to do this, to I've got a good product I'm standing on here. And then we have the one-stop best offer platform, Save Time. You don't have to worry about taking other questions once they fill out the form. Our team takes over. They can answer the tough questions. So you could even say that to them. Hey, that's a great question. I'm not sure. Once we get your application, we'll get your best offer. At that point, they can take over. Or that's a great question. Let me get an answer and get it back to you. You want to gain your education to the point that you can answer the basic questions. We cover all the basic questions on our funding training. So as long as you've been through the funding training and you can answer all those basic questions, what are the rates? What are the terms? How much can I qualify for? How long do I have to pay this back? What does it take to get approved? That's it. Once you can answer those 5, which they're all pretty simple, they're covered in the funding training, you can answer just about every question you're going to get. Well, can you fund me if I've already got an advance? We cover that. We tell you what it takes to qualify, how much you can qualify for, even if you already have an advance, right? So as long as you can answer those basic questions, you're ready. And even until you've had them asked, you're still going to stumble, even when you're ready to answer it. I remember the first time I got asked questions about, so why did you want to introduce yourself to me? And I was like, wait, I didn't think you'd ask me that question. I was ready to tell you about my funding product, and I had to go back and go, well, I just want to introduce myself because, and I had to say the same thing I just said, but it stumbled me for a minute. I mean, it actually stumbled me. And so role play a little bit if you need to. Role play a little bit if you need to, but it only takes 10 minutes of role playing. 15 minutes of role playing to answer those 5 questions. Once you can answer those, you can answer pretty much everything. And if you get one like Matt talked about Friday the other day, he answered how to answer a question you don't know. That's a great question. If I found out an answer to that, would that help you take the next step? I'll get the answer for you. That's my interpretation of what he said. Everyone's going to say it their own way. You don't have to say it exactly like Matt. You don't have to say it exactly like me. You don't have to say, Wade and I say it differently. When I'm presenting an offer to a client, I say it differently than Wade does. We both say the same thing, but I have a different style about my way than he does. That's total. You need to be you. You got to be authentic and truthfully you. That's that balance to bring your confidence up. If I give you a script and you go, I could never say that to someone, you won't say it. You won't say it with authenticity. So to get our equilibrium as we start our Monday off, we start with the beliefs of the business owners, how they're rock stars. They can't get funding from their banks. If you gave them ideas, they'd make it. They can't get funding. We become alternative capital becomes the answer. There's no best carrier best for everybody. Even of the top 20, we don't use the 80 garbage ones. We use the top 20. I won't say garbage, but the 80, there's a reason we don't use them. We only use the top 20. They're the better ones of all of them. And then we find the best offer for your particular client and this particular week with their particular monthly sales. And it's different each month. We don't know which provider is going to be best for you just by looking at the bank statements, because we don't know which businesses want home health care today, or want restaurants today, or want bars today, or want construction companies today. They change every week. They're changing based on their portfolio of clients. They got to diversify, right? So we get the best offer. You can't know that. Your lenders aren't going to tell you that. They're not going to say, by the way, no more restaurants unless they're ABC. Starting the 1st, we'll take more restaurants, but until the 1st, no more restaurants unless they're doing $400,000 a year. But they don't tell you that. They just say, sorry, declined. How do we know this? Because we go to them, hey, last month that file looked great to you, a file just like that. Now you're saying decline. What gives? Oh, we've got a lot of restaurants already this month. We got to diversify. We need some more construction. We need some more. Oh, that makes sense. They tell us that because we give them thousands of applications a year, right? And so you can't get that as a regular broker. You're not going to get that honesty. They're going to say declined. And so we can get that honesty because they want us to keep feeding them packages, and they got to be authentic on why. So you've got the best funding platform for the best need business owners. If this is your calling, if you feel led to do this, you're going to make an impact here. Then take your confidence to the point where you say, hey, I've got the product that solves the need of business owners, and I've got the best product for that. So I just need to promote that and communicate that. Okay. And that gets our equilibrium to a point where we're active to go. Now, if you're unfortunately think you're all that, and you go, dude, you know what, David, that's good what you're saying, but I do it completely different. I'm going to totally twist their arm and contort them into saying yes. Just okay, do you, but don't do it with the DAC logo on your name. Don't do it as the DAC broker. Go do it as you Inc. and go do it your way. And that's totally cool. And if you do amazing, good for you. I got to do things truthfully and I got to do things honestly, and then I can sleep well at night. And as long as what you do works for you, good for you. But the truth is what prevails long term and makes you do this 10 more years and then 20 years and 30 years. And the truth becomes an impact maker. We believe we can be the rocket mortgage of business funding. We believe we can. We're not there yet, but they weren't there overnight either. They weren't there overnight either, but they got there over time, over 20, 30 years. They got there. We got 10 years behind us. We've endured enough to our foundations are like pylons down to the bedrock. Let's go, baby. We're building like this. Story after story after story after story after story, right? Speaking of stories, let's go to a couple funding stories we've got for you today. Bear with me 1 minute. My internet was down, as I told you, and I tried to pull these. I saw them earlier from my phone. Here we go. Good. It's working. Two examples. McGuire, you still hear me okay, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Two stories, real quick. Two funding stories. The email's opening from Wade. Bear with me 1 minute. And while we're getting this, I know we're already at 10 minutes, and so I want to be mindful. Man, it's not loading. So it may, you know what? I'll pull it up from my phone. Bear with me 1 minute, guys. Two funding. Okay, first one. Yeah, I can't believe my internet's working on this Zoom when my email's not opening. Flex funding food truck out of Arizona. Food truck out of Arizona. Food truck out of Arizona. Got a $24,500 with 30 weekly paybacks. Credit score was only 550. And they have a food truck. Do you know if a food truck gets a flat tire, it can't make it to the place? Do you know if a food truck has an engine go out, it can't get to the place? You know how much risk there is in a food truck? Right? People aren't driving to a food truck. The food truck's driving to the venue. What if the food truck can't get to the venue? High risk, but client needs funds to provide seating area with table, umbrellas, and chairs. We got them 24,500. That's going to create more of an environment for the food truck. Well done. Seafood restaurant, South Carolina. $70,000 would be a core rate program, except the client has 5 negative bank days just in August and 3 in July. Remember, negative bank days are below 0. Okay, they look at the number of days more than NSFs, number of days. And they had 5. Usually that's a decline. Well, it would be. It's a decline from our core rate providers, right? That's why it's not core rate. Got them $70,000 though